by the way.
Yeah, I'm co-chair of Tag Contributor Strategy, which this initiative is under it uh, until the CNCF has some other structure for education, which will happen eventually, just not necessarily right now.
Okay.
I thought I should dial in just to listen to what was going on.
Yeah, it sounds like Langdon's having Zoom problems, and um, but he'll be back. I can catch you up a little bit, real quick. Basically, we've been discussing an eventual plan to engage more with education, and part of what we've been figuring out is how to. I think one thing we have a reasonable amount of consensus on is how to differentiate what we're doing from the Linux Foundation courses that are put out by that group. Um, and so we're really more focused on kind of the computer science aspects versus the sort of IT slash, um, like here's how you use this hammer today to bang these specific nails that exist. Um, and so part of what we're trying to do is come up with a set of modules that people can drop into courses. Like you could drop into maybe a cloud computing course or a security class or distributed systems or things like that. And as a way of getting to that, we're looking at doing a small number of sort of exemplars of this, and then trying to solicit others in the community to contribute similar modules in a format to the ones that we're doing. I don't know. Does that make some degree of sense, Josh?
Sure. Yeah, just go ahead and go on with the meeting. Like I said, I mostly dialed in because I knew Catherine couldn't dial in. And
I see.
again, as long as you guys are under Tag CS, you should have, in case something comes up where it's like, oh, hey, we need this resource from the CNCF.
Got it. Or if we start, I don't know, going
Yeah,
crazy off the rails or something, then
I I don't know that I'd recognize that, honestly.
okay. Well,
When I went to school, they didn't even teach distributed systems to undergrads, so the uh, I had to learn that on the job. So
Careful, you're dating yourself there.
yeah.
well,
On the other hand, they did teach scheduling and queuing because we were doing everything in VAX systems. So that was vaguely useful for my Kubernetes future.
yeah, it's kind of amazing how people like learn such a different level of abstraction than they used to, and then sometimes like something really simple for people who've had that other thing comes up, and you're like, oh, of course, you just do X, and
Right.
everyone else is like, what do you mean? Like, you
Yeah.
know, um, I was talking about like history of access control systems and how they work and things like that, and so I had to explain to students that Multics was really interesting because it was actually written not in assembly. And that was like a very new thing at the time, was that you wouldn't just write an entire operating system in assembly, and
Yeah.
that you might actually want multiple processes to be able to share the same, time sharing and,
Yeah, well,
segmented.
and that was, I mean, like the funny thing, one of the things I was trying to explain to somebody when we were doing scheduler, when they came up with a scheduler framework for Kubernetes, et cetera. And I was like, had to relate this, right? Because when we were admitting the VAX systems, the scheduler was us, right? So I know the scheduling algorithm because it was me.
So Langdon, how's your audio going?
I can hear now. I just ended up connecting on my phone. I'm going to try rebooting my computer and make it a little bit better, but I don't have a keyboard at the moment, so typing will be less awesome. But how y'all doing?
Good. I might have to drop after a little bit. So, do you have access to the meeting notes and stuff about what's going to be discussed?
Yeah. Yes. Give me a second, and I will. Yeah. So, kind of in short, I know I'm behind on a couple things. the what was I gonna say? I did reach out to the CNCF to find out about kind of a BOF kind of thing for KubeCon. Apparently KubeCon doesn't really have those per Amy. They have kind of meet at a table sort of thing, but she kind of implied that it was semi-formal. So I don't know. I shot a note to EventSat and I have not heard back yet. So hopefully we will know soon. But we'll see what they say. Otherwise, we might have to do something ad hoc.
So, by the way, and I have done ad hoc before, and you can definitely get like 30 people at a table pretty easily. Like, if you know, so we just
I just wasn't clear on like whether the table was like reserved. Like, do I request it, or is it just like everybody shows up or whatever?
Yeah, we just need to be clear and do something like hold up a orange folder or something, so people looking across the massive area with all the tables can find us. That's
gotcha.
what we did last time. That was actually the hardest part. Was we had all these people who were interested, and then finding exactly where it was. So there needs to be some landmark like that.
Yeah, I've been to KubeCon a few times now, but I've never been particularly good at like I've gone to a couple of talks, but I haven't really participated in it all that well. So it's a little, I'm not entirely sure how this particular conference works, you know. But long story short, we'll see what they say, and it may be nothing. And then, but yeah, I do plan to be there. Justin, I know you plan to be there. Catherine, I presume you plan to be there. We also had a new person in the Slack who was gonna try to make a meeting, but I'm not sure how soon. They do not appear to be in the call. I also don't remember their name. But yeah, so I thought that was cool. Tianyan, probably. So we'll see what they have to say, or if they can participate. But I don't have a ton for today. I know I'm behind on the. Actually, so the GitHub did get created. It is in one of the threads. And I know, Corey, you were looking for that in particular, right?
Correct. Yes, that was part of my action item for how to collect how to learn X resources.
Yeah. And so we got it. And I think I probably have the priv to give priv. But I would need your GitHub username.
Prof Corey, PROFCOREY.
Oh, I do not have priv to give priv.
No.
But I guess it's probably just public, right? So, yeah. Catherine, do you have priv on it, or is it like, because somebody's got to be able to accept pull requests, right?
I did ask for you to, I don't know, I have to, like, I'm trying to find the repo right now, and I'm going to pin it.
Oh, I
like,
just threw it in the notes.
Oh, okay, great. I was going to put them at the beginning, so they're always.
Yeah, good idea. So I just can't see the settings page, so I don't know I don't know how to tell what privs I have particularly well. I usually like own the orgs that I work in GitHub in. So I don't so we'll see what happens, but you should be able to at least do a PR, right? A fork and a PR.
Okay. I actually registered as a virtual attendee for the conference, so if you guys have any like an official meeting, if you can request me in or add me, that would be great. But if you can't, that's okay. I'll just wait till you guys get back.
So I don't really know. I've never given anyone permission, so I don't really know. So it's like, I think like
can you see settings all the way to the right?
If I can
like
see
in
what?
the top. Can you see settings to the right of insights?
Okay.
Oh, you do see it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if you go in there, top left corner of the left nav, it should say something like collaborators.
Moderation option, maybe?
No, it should be collaborators, depending on the privilege level you have. The way GitHub works is it just disappears functions if you don't have priv for them.
Yeah. George gave me far too much power because that should be yours. So it's like, I don't know. So it was like, give it to Langdon. I was like, and I thought you had it all, but it's like, yeah, so I don't really need, I'm just here to facilitate. And then like once it's running, it's like your little.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm asking him right now. Normal model, but should. Oh boy, that's if I could spell. Okay, so I asked the question. We'll see what he says. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, Corey, what I would do is just, fork it, and anything you want to put in there, just start doing it.
Okay.
We'll figure out how to get the code, the
Sure.
content in there somehow sooner or later, right?
It'll evolve. Yeah.
I cannot type today. This is not going well. Okay. Yeah, so, well, at least we ran down the GitHub status. I have not done the elevator pitch. I was supposed to do it before today, but I did not get a chance. And yeah, and I did reach out about getting space, but I want to have the elevator pitch done by the end of the week. So once I get it done, I'll kind of drop it in the Slack channel and ask for feedback. Any questions, thoughts, comments?
So I remember like a while ago, Chris Anichak asked like if we wanted to do a poster, and I was like, that was like completely.
Oh,
They
right.
never kind of reached out and said like this is. So I kind of said like sure, and then I never got any instructions, so it completely fell off my radar. Of course, now it's too late, I guess, but you didn't hear anything about that, right?
I have not. Yeah. I mean, except you and I talking about it, I had forgotten.
Because I assumed someone would say like, here are the instructions. This is the deadline.
Right.
Like, it's like, so I didn't make a note because I assumed information would come. So, well, next time, I guess. Next time there will be more to show also. So.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I just hate if, somebody was expecting us to put something up, but, yeah, I'm with you. The other thing is my note to the event staff may also trigger, oh, have you thought about a poster? Or something. So we'll see what they, maybe they'll come back with something about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments, thoughts? Justin, you don't know anything about the posters, do you? Is he still here?
I'm still here. I don't.
Okay. I didn't really think you did, but I thought there was an off chance. Cool.
If there's no other topic, as I mentioned in Slack, my major, I have a master in physics, so computer, I barely took any computer science courses, so everything is learning on the job. Now in the community, so I just posted a mind map, sort of. So for me, it will be interesting if this effort will lead to any kind of a mind map for people to really mapping the real world technology to the actual computer science field. Yeah, so like for example, if there's any particular field, any particular terminology, then you can sometimes just follow that and find different resources. Yeah, so that's something I hope will be available.
You said you said you built this and put it in Slack?
No. I
No.
asked a question. For example, I post that link to the CMU course on WebAssembly, for example.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect example of what's happening in the industry and what academic is doing to create a course based on it. But the mind map I posted in the Zoom chat. I wish that there's similar like. So like, for example, the CMU course, I wish it belongs to like one of the branch in this mind map, so that when I go down here, I'll take okay, this is really the landscape of computer science, and this is happening in the industry, and what course is available. Yeah, so this is just a more kind of a systematic way of just mapping computer science concept to the actual real world implementations.
And you're kind of proposing for the stuff we're doing is like making one of these equivalent mind maps, yeah?
Yeah. Basically, it's just adapting this to make it more complete, cover all the theory aspect of computer science, and at the same time map what is available in the CNCF in the cloud native world to this mind map.
So yeah, I think taking on computer science might be a bit rough. Taking on kind of cloud native development might make sense.
Yeah, I agree. Not everything will be applicable. Like if you look at this mind map there there's things that's definitely not directly in scope for cloud native, right? For example, programming language, that's more fundamental, but it's not part of it. But it could still be what's being used instead of what need to be done to create a new compiler. It could be what language is available for the cloud native world. For example, Go is like almost the fundamental knowledge programming language for Kubernetes, right? So anything that can be from a student perspective can be easier to digest for a student like me. That would be useful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be interesting. I think I wonder if this might be a good way to articulate how whatever we were calling them, but our modules link together. So instead of it being like the kind of outside most component being an actual, or at least it looks like it's an actual class in this example, it actually be kind of the various kind of modules we were talking about building. But yeah, I think this is a neat idea. I mean, I would be interested in commenting on a first draft of it. I think I hesitate, like I would definitely say on the kind of thing we're working on, I would tend to go kind of ground up, right? Rather than top down. So I wouldn't go make this mind map now. What I would do is instead say, okay, we're going to build this module, we're going to build that module, we're going to build that module. Then I might build a map that shows the connection. Does that make sense?
Yes, that definitely is the right approach for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's, like I said, I think it'd be a good way to kind of bring them together, but I might wait to do it till we have some things that would actually, land in it. Because I think just the exercise of putting that entire list together is probably a lot of work. And we don't know that we'll ever actually get to it, kind of following the agile method, right?
And I've got a question of any ideas. So we've had like a few people, faculty people, join the chat and show interest. So, but like they're always the same people showing up to the meetings, right? So it's like, how can we make this, more appealing? Like, I don't know, how can we incentivize attendance? Because it's like they seem interested, like they're like, oh yeah, this is great, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So, but we lose. I mean, I know life is always busy, and like wanting to do something and actually finding the time to do something is there's always a gap between that, right? But like, is there anything that we can do to encourage them? Because there is like an initial interest, right?
Yeah, I think I might, or I think one of the things maybe we should start to think about now that we have some of the kind of groundwork in place and stuff is kind of use Slack as a bit more to drive work rather than the meetings. I think for a lot of people, it's hard to carve out the hour, but instead, if we kind of said, hey, there's this laundry list of things to do, I wonder if it's even worth looking at, some of the Slack add-ons or whatever, and kind of saying, hey, we have these, 4 action items. Is anybody in the Slack channel willing to take one or more of them on, and kind of like use Slack a little bit more as a workplace rather than a, I don't know, discussion place or something, or even think about looking at some of the other tools to do that. I don't even know if I would want to go even that far, kind of like keep the barrier to entry very, very low and just be like, hey, in the Slack channel, here's a couple of action items. Anybody want to take them on, kind of thing. Might be a good way to help get them engaged.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And maybe as well, like sending a reminder before the meeting and tagging the people who are actually, like, not like, if you don't have notifications on, you will not see it, right? Like tagging the people, these people who are faculty. I think I've done that. I did that like 2 times early on, but just like, hey, it would be great to see you. It's like, and then just doing that over and over again. It's like, maybe they just show up at some point, or like with the action items as well, like just tagging people. Because I feel like sometimes there are so many, I mean, there are so many channels on the CNCF Slack, and I'm sure you don't even see where the notifications are, because it's just like maybe being more like, tagging people sometimes in a very, not being pushy and like, and pushing people away, right? But like kind of in a, just as a reminder. But yeah, I feel like we have found a few people, and it's a shame that we're not tapping into that. So it's like, just some food for thoughts.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I threw it in the notes too. So I'll try to do that definitely next time. But I'm going to add it to my calendar right now so that I don't forget. Do we have, what is our next time? Do we have it on the 2nd? Oh yeah, there it is. And then the week after that's KubeCon, right? So.
Oh, right. The 2nd is the week before KubeCon. I was gonna, I will be in Mexico there, so I won't be there, but.
That's going to be harder to get to Chicago from.
I will be actually basically going, like arriving, and then it's like, it's a wedding, so I couldn't time. It's like, oh my God, this is so stressful. It's just literally the week before KubeCon. But okay. I'll survive.
All right. So I added a reminder for myself to do that. But yeah, like I said, I'm a little behind. It's been a busy few weeks. Is there anything else anybody wanted to talk about today?
Hey, Langdon, I added another module on the proposal list. When I was at Oracle, I was tasked to investigate logging in FluentD. So I wouldn't mind maybe a module on logging and the theory behind it, and maybe showing how it works.
Yeah.
I think with the way we're trying to structure this for computer science, it might be useful to think about like, what's the problem? Because one of the big problems I think that you really run into is like, where do I put logging? How do I make it efficient? How do I look at the logs in a reasonable way? How do I collect them? How do I correlate timestamps? How do I do all these types of things across it? It's often not hard to log information, but actually using that information in a meaningful way is hard. And that I think gets to a whole bunch of different computer science concepts. And so maybe thinking about how we organize around that as a topic and then bring the necessary aspects in might be better. At least it's a more computer science way to do it than like a tool hammer way.
Sure. Yeah, and I actually teach a seminar on advanced software, and students are asked to create their own project, and one way to collect data would be to implement logging. So I can I can touch upon all those there, Justin, and then maybe even include this module within the seminar.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think I think it's kind of like where to put it. I also think some other things to think about, right? Is like logging is an expense. And so you need to also figure out what is the right amount. But then at the same time, you want enough that it tells you what's going on. And then I would also think about like, there's different kinds of logging too. Like, so there's logging because you want to do like debugging, but there's also audit. Right. And you have to make certain guarantees when you're doing like audit logging. Having done consulting in the pharma space, they get really, really annoyed if you can't track drug complaints. And by they, I mean the federal government. So things like audit logging, and some of those different aspects I think would also be really interesting as kind of like the theory around what's going on too.
Yeah, I just wanted to contribute something towards the content besides doing the, search for X resources.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. So yeah, I don't know if you want to keep working on, or you want to do like some sort of rewrite on your description to kind of take some of that feedback into account, and then maybe we can kind of help comment on it or whatever as well.
Yeah, will do.
All right, cool. That sounds good. Any other topics people wanted to bring up?
Right now, only KubeCon is on my mind, so.
Yeah, right. I luckily am not like doing any demos or anything, so I don't care. I can just go and I can just go and look pretty.
That's
so
nice.
yeah,
Go
it is
and check
nice
the-
once in a while. All right, cool. Well then let's wrap it up there, unless, like I said, unless anybody had any last minute things.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, talk to you all soon. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Take care.